Alright, let's start the show. Good afternoon, and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus campaign, episode 11. I'm your DM and host, Marty, joined by Adam and Mark, and it's only been, like 12 hours since we last saw each other. Maybe, math, Marty, like 13, 15 hours, something like that. It was good. We played, how was your evening? You went to bed, and I guess how was your Saturday morning?
I picked up my wife from the hospital, so
my butt hurts from the gym from yesterday. That's the big reveal.
All right, hope your wife's doing okay, Mark.
Yeah, I'll be in and out. I gotta go check on her periodically because she's not entirely mobile right now, so she needs, things like water and food.
And a hand to the toity, I'm assuming?
Yeah. It's not unlike having another pet now.
We will never show her this stream.
This will not be a stream highlight.
Right, exactly. What did I do? I leveled up a couple characters after game. I did the quick summary of what happened, and then I watched Children of the Corn. Because movies is what Marty does when he's...
It's
the original?
The original movie, it doesn't age very well.
No.
The concept, though, of the creepy children killing all the adults is the concept's there. And then I realized we used the token for what's his name? Ebenezer is the lead Children of the Corn. I'm like,
yes,
it was so creepy watching him talk. I'm like, oh, Ebenezer, oh, look at him go. Yeah, he walks behind the row. So I think there's a new Children of the Corn movie coming out, and that's why I sort of like, let's go back to the original before we watch the new one.
Yeah, I might be a true child of the '90s because I think the Corn album is where Children of the Corn is where it's at.
For some reason, I sat down to watch Children of the Corn, and I thought I was going to watch Village of the Damned, where all the the creepy, paired up blonde children were. I thought that was a movie I was going to watch, and I was pleasantly surprised at the initial. I'm like, oh, that wasn't that movie. What is the other movie called?
Where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh,
is it too bad?
This isn't too bad. Oh, it doesn't hold up very well. And the way the head character, who is a doctor, treats his beloved girlfriend would be vilified today. He is not a nice boyfriend. And
what was it like? Get a hold of yourself.
Well, it wasn't quite like that, but she was trying to surprise him on his birthday, and he's like, "Yeah, just let me sleep."
It wasn't full on Sean Connery.
Yeah. Oh. I'm still trying to not to...
Have you seen my pink glove? It's time for the raping. What?
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, the Sean Connery James Bond would not
do well today. That's the same.
Actually,
Marty,
even if you go back even as recently as the film Superbad.
Oh yeah.
No. They want to get girls drunk to sleep with them? No. No.
All right. Yeah. All right. So times are changing. Let's play some D&D. All right, what happened last game? Not last game with those slaves/gladiators on the Road of Sorrow.
We found freedom under a necromancer who might be more evil than the Dragon Man.
Randomly, how's it going? I was trying to summarize, what the fuck happened last game? So I'm moments after the dust settled from the vicious Drake attack, the newly minted gladiators rebel against their master Zamocles and the few guards that remain. After a tense battle, they best the guards and knock out Zamocles. The gladiators then take charge of the caravan. Realizing that they have little chance of escaping the dragonborn-ruled land, they concoct a plan that forces their captors into slavery and establishes a new master for them all. And this new master may be worse in other ways than their current one, or their previous one. So
I don't care if you die, you will continue to serve.
right, and Radimer's already like told you what his plan is. The less people alive in the end that know the secret, the better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because those gladiator brands are false. There's a chance that somebody could, who knew what they were doing, go up to them and go, "That's not right," or "Let's check the register. You're not registered as a gladiator owner." You know, all the radical jabronis. Not a bad.
Don't
summary.
worry.
All right.
Just stay out in the sticks.
Apparently, my cold isn't gone. All right, so what happened the game before last with the Conclave of the Crimson Sands? Well, the Conclave of the Crimson Sands is no more. The Conclave was liquidated and sold due to insolvent debts. Ashoka, Phineas, Magnus are presented with new employment opportunity, however. Ashoka discovers Theodore's scheme to cheat their new employer out of gold, but foils his attempt. Their new employer invites the trio to the city of Vaddapol, where they'll start a ludus anew, with the trio as the masters. The new masters form a caravan and leave Vinvasa and travel to Vaddapol, a small coastal city that boasts its own civic arena. Ashoka and Magnus visit the pit fights run by evil priests of the old gods. The ludus receives gifts and threats from various rival gladiatorial houses. Baron Vogel von Krakenstein visits the new masters with contracts in hand. The trio signs the contracts, taking responsibility for the ludus and the Baron's funding. The Baron has a mighty gift, a baby red dragon. The dragon is to be raised by the masters with the expectation that they'll feed its nature. The new masters name their ludus the Conclave of the Crimson Scale. 4 new gladiators join the stable, as agreed by the captain of the hilt, in an arrangement that Ashoka had made. And the masters busy themselves organizing and administering their new gladiatorial ludus, preparing for the coming season of games.
Okay.
I believe the masters have all leveled up.
Ashoka has.
Yeah, I have. I don't know if Magnus is done or not.
Let's take a look at Magnus.
Looks like he's done. At the very least, started.
All right. Are there any things that I should be aware of about your leveling up?
Oh my god, he's got so many hit points.
Holy crap!
I know. He's got 4 hit die and 80 hit points. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, the 18 con and then the toughness feat are probably
Yeah.
are good
Contributors to,
Yes.
to said.
Yeah, he almost like he's over halfway to 100 hit points and he's 4th level.
Yep. So for interesting things that were taken, Ashoka now has invisibility as a spell.
Okay.
Just as a thing, and then he's better at lying.
Apparently, Ahmed was sick when he took a feat. He took a Cornigon Smash with prerequisites Power Attack and Intimidate 6 ranks. He doesn't have Intimidate 6 ranks because...
He doesn't have none of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got Power Attack. You need Bab 6. This is what I like about the one-note character sheets, because I can do things like this and highlight them in red and put my name beside it and give them some eye cancer.
Aha!
Mark hates my note. When I put notes on his character sheets, I know this. He's like, give me a chance. I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of it. Because Mark tends to copy pasta from other sheets, so I find junk that doesn't have to do with the character, and I get confused, and then I leave little...
Like, what the fuck is this? This is... It's a fighter, not a swashbuckler. Why is he got... I'm like, let me finish!
Choose another one. Choose another feat is basically what we want. Okay, cool. So Ashoka, just for a summary, and let me increase the size so you guys can read on stream. Ashoka is a rogue 4 sorcerer 4 gestalt. Consigliere is the archetype, and then the sorcerer bloodline is
Infernal.
Yeah. Phineas. Phineas is an alchemist mind chemist, wizard 4. Magnus is a barbarian 4, fighter 4. Pretty classic Conan.
Marshall, all the way.
You could almost argue that Conan is also multi-class rogue.
Rogue, yeah.
I would say he's rogue, barbarian, fighter.
And I'll ask Ahmed about that. I'm like, do you want to cherry pick rogue for 2 levels for evasion? And the answer will probably be yes.
And stealth.
and stealth is a class skill. Yeah. And then I moved Radimer.
He'll take sense motive if he does that. You shouldn't encourage that. He shouldn't take sense motive.
Radimer. Oh yeah, it's a class skill for rogues, right? And then Radimer, I moved into the master section because you forced him into becoming a master. Now he's not associated with the conclave of Crimson Scale, but he is a necromancer 3, cleric 1 of a death priest, Gestalt Oracle Bones.
Look at his ability scores just for a second. So when people make the old like PHB PSA joke from like 2007,
the perfect wizard is
8, 18, 8. He goes to that school of thinking.
He is leaning a little bit towards the charisma. He needs int for his wizarding. He needs wisdom for his clericing. He needs charisma for all of his channeling. So he's going to be the ultimate necromancer. He's got 3 different pools of channel negative energy. One from necromancer, one from priest, and one from Oracle of Bones with a mystery that he took. So basically, he's got 3 separate pools of like I can command and control undead. You add in command undead as a spell, and I believe there's one other way of getting it. There might be another way of getting it, or might be another
magic item or something. Yeah.
No, there's another class that might give him command undead, so he'll have 2 different command undead pools as a spell. So he'll have 5 different ways.
So many hit dice worth of undead around him.
Yes.
And then one high level priest will like fart and they'll all die. But like, it's just, yeah. But there's gonna be lots of hit dice of undead.
Yeah, in a campaign world where you're in cities, you tend not to have fights in the streets, and you have fights in the arena. He could command a bunch of undead and send them into a pit fight, or send them into an arena fight. So. And he's your healer, or he could be your healer. He does have the skills for healing.
I'm the least trusty healer in the world.
I'm sorry, you're not going to make it. Why are you laughing?
What do you mean, Doc? What do you mean? I don't want you to.
Why are all your nurses taking measurements? Why is there a seamster in here? We must get your measurements.
You're gonna give me a good coffin? No.
Yes, a good coffin. Yeah, it's still Radimer's personality is still developing, but I can see how creepy he's gonna get the more powerful he gets. Okay, so you guys are at the beginning of the season. The season of gladiatorial combat is spring, summer, and winter. Spring, summer, and autumn, and in the winter they take it off. So you're basically exiting the winter month. I'm not going to go directly which day it is. We'll say you've got a few days to go and meet and do things before you have to register your ludus. And you do so by meeting the Commissar. And you were also told that at some point the Duke is going to demand an audience, or like call you to his court. But there may be other people in town. Given the importance of this sort of bread and circus across the Empire on Tarak, there may be others you want to talk to. Like this would be the time to go and make nice, or go and say fuck you, or and you may start to receive visitors if you don't go and visit the right people. So we will say that you are in your ludus. Everyone is watching Magnus wander around playing with a whip because he doesn't know how to use it properly, acting as the doctore for the which is the Roman term for like the trainer of gladiators, and all of your gladiators are in the courtyard training. You can see that there is that one poor slave, I forget what his name is, that feeds the dragon.
His name is Go Feed the Dragon.
He opens the door. He throws like a lamb leg inside and closes the door. And you notice that he's smart enough now that he's put a bench near the door. He hops up on the bench, and there are a bunch of flames that go gouting between the crack underneath the door, kind of like this flames underneath. He then from his strategic place on the bench kind of puts out the fires around the wooden door, the heavy wooden door. Marty, if you remember, the stream house was placed by Big Boss. I was thinking maybe we could have a slight name change to the stream, the bathhouse. Ooh, I renamed it to the Slayer Manor, but if you wanted to make it a bathhouse, that would be cool. Let's make it a little bit bigger if it's a bathhouse.
I take it there's some new things on the map.
I see a skin painter shop, and I see
the skin painter shop was before. I remember that one.
Yeah. Okay, we'll say the Slayer's Manor is there, but I will put a bathhouse on there. We're gonna call it the bathhouse of the wolf, randomly. So,
is there a big hairy Mongolian dude looking guy there? This wolf bathhouse?
I want the bathhouse to be close to the Market of the Old Gods. So a bathhouse would be a cool thing. I'm gonna put the bathhouse as this big building up here. We'll say they pump water up to there, and it's all kind of like statues, adorned with statues of the old god and calms. So we'll call this the Wolf's Den bathhouse. And we'll stick that right at the edge of the market.
Yeah.
Cool name. Randomly. Thanks.
All right.
Everyone's training. I guess Aka is down there. Like everyone being your gladiators and your
Ludai.
Oh, your Tempi.
Tempe. Damn it.
Of course, none of those are official yet because you haven't like submitted your papers and done all that official stuff. Qued is there helping you set this up, though. It's not like you're just sort of left to navigate the bureaucracy of owning a Ludus and being part of the games. Qued is there basically managing forms, getting you guys to sign things. He has to run around and get people to sign in triplicate. Magnus is like, just sign something. What do you need again? Is there something that I can sign so you could just sign for me? That would not be wise, you hear Qued say.
If you'd like, I could take over your signatory responsibilities, Magnus.
No, I don't trust you.
Don't trust you, you fucking snake.
You fucking snake will all be worshipping Hector or something. Hector! 6 arms to jerk off.
We'll discuss it again in the future.
Qued is just sort of not used to the vulgarity. He seems to like hide from the vulgarity a little bit. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. You're always sneaking around. He goes and signs the thing. The thing is, with signing a lot of these contracts, it requires your fingerprints. So all of your fingers at this point, or your thumbs and fingers on one hand, are covered in ink, stained in ink, because you've been signing contracts. Not a big deal for Phineas. Okay. His fingers are always stained in something.
Covered in ink.
And Magnus is just used to blood. Ashoka, they realize that your fingerprints are weird. You don't have mammal fingerprints.
I've got scale prints.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, they're not, you're pretty much, each one of your fingers looks all the same. It's just sort of like a squiggly thing. You don't have the mammalian fingerprints.
Any place that uses fingerprints as a method of proof is going to be excellent for bullshit in the future. Or there might be a need to
You don't know if that's a Nagaji thing or if that's just a benefit of your bloodline.
Yeah.
They don't seem to notice, but you're like,
Yeah.
there aren't these same squirrels and swiggles, and you start to get the sense that this either makes the contracts null and void or not provable. Although it might make them easier to forge on your behalf, you haven't quite figured out whether you could use this to your advantage.
Yeah, basically, I'm also thinking if I should be, like, marring my finger so there is a print of some variety. But I think...
Yeah, let me know. But the thing is, these things have a signature and then
Right.
your thumbprint. So,
yeah.
at least the signature, I guess. Yeah, just things that you think about while you're going through this process.
Ashoka would like to have gone to see every of the guilds or every of the stables in the city before, like during this period.
Okay, this is the time to do it because these initial reactions are important. Know that while we didn't get to it on the stream the other night, I did create a relationship chart. So I have a chart where every ludus and some important people have their how do they feel about the other people in that matrix, and then how do those people feel about you, and some of these things are not reciprocal. So,
I would like to do gather information to try to basically know, like, effectively for each one of these, I'd like to take at least a full day trying to get information on them before, and then go to see them, like, you know what I mean? Like,
great.
Marty, can I just do a knowledge local to see what I know about them?
Do you have knowledge local Vaddapol or knowledge local Imperium?
I do. I took knowledge local Vaddapol.
Okay.
you brilliant bastard.
We'll say that in the time that you took before you went to Vaddapol and the journey over, you spent lots of time learning about Vaddapol. So yeah, you can ask a question about these things. What would you like to know about each of the Ludi? And it's probably worth that you guys make a little chart with all of their names. I will help by starting that chart with their names because I think I have that written down somewhere.
Okay. Would this be in party pages?
Yeah, you can start your own page. That's the nice thing about OneNote.
All right.
The houses of Vaddapol, and then major NPCs, and you can keep on adding a few things. So, did you create a thing yet, or?
Yeah, Vaddapol stables.
Okay, I'll just wait for it. Vaddapol stables. All right.
Spelled Vaddapol, right? Or no?
Yep. So I'll create a little table, and I'll share with the screen what I'm doing. So that took 3 seconds. And then we'll add a few more rows, because there might be other people you might want to share about. And then you can keep track of, like, who's who and what's what. Probably the leader is a good thing to know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the organization, the leader, and things you know.
Thickness. The thickness.
Does Ashoka have a big tail? I think we said that Ashoka does have a bit of a snake tail coming out of his back. So
I wouldn't call it a big fuck off tail. I'd call it just sort of like a moderately subdued sort of, you know.
All right. So what are the questions you have about these organizations, Mark? So first, give me a roll to see if you actually know who all of the players are in the whole ecosystem. Knowledge local. And at the same time, we could give you your diplomacy check, because I'm assuming you were trying to get the lay of the land.
Yes.
You ask questions like this, like who's who and what's what.
Well, it's who's who and what's what. But I'd like to already add a line to this.
Yep.
The jackasses from the pit fights and the.
Okay, so these are the priests of, we'll call it the Temple of Erythnol.
Okay. And then I'm assuming
that
what else?
Effectively run the pit fights, right?
Yeah. And then the there'd be the citadel, the tower, the what's his name? Oh my! This is gonna be a funny game if I can't remember basic shit that was told to me 5 minutes ago. Mark, the boss of this town. What is their title?
Oh, commissioner. Oh no, there's the Duke.
The Duke. It would be like the Duke and the law, and that might be one thing or
Okay,
not.
so the Duke is the leader of the duchy, and he does spend time in the town. The Commissar of Games.
Commissar, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark with a 22, you know that another important person. So you know the names of the major houses. You don't know if the Fan of Man is here. That is not something you get with a 22. The Commissar of Games is the official in charge of running the games. The Duke is the leader of the duchy, so he's the Duke of not of Vaddapol, but the entire duchy itself. I have his name, Vasa.
Okay.
Vaddapol.
The diplomacy was 23.
Okay.
It was work.
Duke Dragol Korda of the Duchy of Vaddapol city-states in the Duchy of Vade. So you know his title.
Okay.
Party pages. The leader, his name is we just said it. Dragol Korda. Okay, you know that there's also one other important person. It's the Magister. He's the office of the Imperial Magisters. These are basically the judges. So, whether or not you want fights that put condemned criminals to death for money, this is the guy that you probably want to have on your side.
So, anything with Pennywise, we need this guy.
Yeah, you need to probably check in with Mr. Pennywise. In fact, you were told by the guard at the border when he saw your papers that you need to go and check in with the Imperial Magister. You don't know who that person's name is. You just know that there is an office and they have some guy who's in charge of the law, like the local. He's the one that condemns criminals, and he if he favors one house, there's money to be made by having your gladiators go and kill criminals. It's not a terribly great job. But if you want to make a little bit of money or take the risk of running up against a criminal that has not been properly
assessed
and ranked, yes. Having a magister, you may be called upon to, you're not too sure what the laws are. You may actually have an obligation to do this when called upon by the magister.
Been drafted.
Yeah, there may be a lot, like, okay, who's going to kill this group of rebels? And there may be some legal way that as you register as a ludus, that you have to participate in a number of matches.
Perfect.
So you may want to know who that guy is. With your 23, you know that there is an office here. You just don't know. Not the lawyers. He's the judge. he's the imperial judge. He is sent by the Imperium to keep law in this town, not local law, imperial law. All right, and then with the 23, you gain the names of all the organizations. You know the lay of the land. As for the individual leaders, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You beat. We'll say that you know the leaders' names with a 23 and a 22. For three leader names apiece.
Are we both going to roll D10s?
No. I just you get to pick. Basically, where did you concentrate your asking? Mark, you get 3 leaders. Whose names do you want to know?
The leader of the most powerful houses, basically.
You guess.
Yeah. So I'm streaming. There's a page where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different organizations or like titles, and you know the name of the Duke. It's kind of like, who's the king over here? Like you know his name.
Okay. I don't know that. Commissar of Games would be a good name to know.
Okay. Let me just open another OneNote so I don't have to keep on switching back
I
and forth.
believe
The Commissar of Games, his name is Dmitry Veska.
Dmitry Veska. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dimitri.
He's a human.
Oh, he's he's very important.
You can tell by his puffy wig.
Dmitry Veska is human. He is the prison master as well of Vaddapol. He manages the city prisons and thus the city garrison. You may know that he is Avacian as well. Avacian meaning that he's not Imperial blood, he's from the blood of this continent.
Yeah.
Who else do you want to know, like, the name of? You're just getting the lay of the land.
I don't know the name of the Imperial Magister.
You can pick him as one of the three.
I would pick him, yes.
Okay. The Imperial Magister, you actually ask, his name is Henry Veru. You know from that he's a stodgy imperialist who hates everything not of the Imperium.
Okay.
I will paste their names so we get the spellings right. Go ahead and start filling in the details if you want. I'm not going to track your details.
You're pressing my my spelling.
He is an older man. He's a white hair.
Okay.
We'll say like you get the sense that he's an atypical Imperium bureaucrat, aristocrat.
Atypical
Okay.
or prototypical?
Prototypical.
Are you typing this or should I? Okay. I'm going to stop putting things down.
And the people might fear him. He's not He's not known for mercy.
That's good. Don't worry, he will like Snake Man and Barbarian.
Right.
Yeah. Phineas, you're going in.
Thinking.
Maybe I'll take this.
Okay. And then the third person whose name you want to know a little bit about.
I'm going to say the...
Remember, this was happening on your way here, so anything that happened while you were in town shouldn't influence this.
Yeah. I say... No.
Otherwise, I'll be going, horsehead motherfuckers. Where do they sleep?
Temple of Erythnol / Fight Pits. Who's... Pit Fights, sorry.
Okay. I think I came up with a name for this guy, and then I promptly forgot it. Do you guys remember?
No, but if it occurred in another game, perhaps he has been replaced. Kind of like Vivian on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in that one season, where it's like, what the hell?
They upgraded his wife between seasons.
Like, that's not
right.
Aunt Viv. What is going on here? Why is everyone acting like that's Aunt Viv?
I think I just described the Erythnolites, and I didn't actually give them a lot of names. I may have given the announcer a name, but you know, it might be his day off when we go back there again. Let me go to the Seventh Sanctum Evil Name Generator. Seventh Sanctum Evil Name Generator. Welcome to College Course, Vaddapol.
Please enjoy your stay.
Those aren't evil names. Those are ridiculous names. How is that evil?
Okay, just as like how does one define a name which is evil? Like,
Evil
you know, you got
sounding names. There we go. I've got a better
Yeah.
one. Just hard consonants and...
German? Is that, are you saying?
Yes, German names sound evil.
His name is
Krakenstein is evil. Clearly.
Vogel von Krakenstein. Yeah, it's the. That's a good one. It's
His name is Vogue Harkoon.
all right.
He is a priest of Erythnol who you don't want to cross, is basically what you were told.
Okay.
Some believe that those that die in the pits are sacrifices to the god of destruction.
Alrighty then.
You have been kill a man with a touch.
Clericy stuff. Yeah. Gotcha.
All right, Ashoka, you've got enough time before you actually have to start visiting these people to gather information, and I guess like who are the leaders is kind of like the first thing. You've got enough time to kind of like figure out who the three leaders were and a little bit of tidbits about them. If you pick someone that you've already known, you may get more information about them. So
Okay.
so you roll with
Knights
23.
of Vaddapol.
The Knights of Vaddapol. So their leader's name
choice.
is
Billy.
not Billy, Lord, but it's like quotations Lord. No, he's not actually a lord, and his name is Lord Honori Nothram. You know that he is not actually a lord. He is of Avician blood, and he acts like he wishes he should be a lord. Like it's not a secret that that's what he wants. The 23. They act less like they outwardly pose as a chivalric ideal, but they act more like a mob. Not a mob of people like a mafia.
Okay.
Which were the horsehead guys? Just as like a.
The people that shot the horse heads over the wall to you guys are the Sea God's Fury.
All right. Interesting. They were also on my list of the pre-horsehead incident group, just because they sound.
The Knights of Vaddapol are, however, the local favorites.
Ah, that's important to know.
Because they sort of represent this romanticized ideal of the knights that once ruled over the kingdom of Vade, not the Duchy of Vade, before the Imperium came.
And these are the guys that liked lances, right?
These are guys that will stick heavily armed guys on heavily armed horses and run people down.
All right.
But a consigliere rogue recognizes a
sneak thief.
No, like a bunch of thugs that extort for protection money, hiding behind some sort of like old ideal. Yeah, and then the people buying it. There's some interesting things going on there.
Mm-hmm.
My horse doesn't eat for free, buddy. This protection money is for you, really.
Yeah, donations.
I'm gonna correct it to Avician.
Oh, it's with a V?
V. Yep. V.
Okay. I did the same thing on the Commissar.
Okay. All right. And then who else do you want to know about while you're asking around town?
Sea God's Fury?
Sea God's Fury. The leader's name is
Gregor.
Where the fuck is he? His name is Sabros the Blackheart.
That's a pretty cool name.
He is a priest of some sea god that everyone, like, people fear him. He's well despised by a lot. Like, you find no one that says anything good about him when they're willing to even talk to you about him. Bunch of murderous pirates and that will drag you down into the deep. Worshipping their deep monster sea god.
Deep Kraken god or something. Oh, they're gonna be fun. I like them. I like both of them so far. Oh, I like them.
You know that he also might be a priest. Oh, you got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's got magic powers that are likely divine.
Okay.
And that was 3? No.
Number
was 2.
3.
That's
That's 2. The third one. Yeah, we got a Draggle for free. The third one will be the. We have a dragon. We need to make friends. The Beast Tamers.
The Beast Tamers? Okay.
Yeah.
Chebagast the Beast Tamer.
Cheb. Hey Cheb, how you doing?
Chebagast, yeah. He is a very large man who loves his beasts and who is said to weep when the best of his beasts die in the arena.
Alright, loves his beasts.
He's a hands-on leader in that he trains a lot of the beasts himself.
Okay. Does he have non-beast anythings?
No, traditionally, like, this ludus brings monsters into and everything from animals to monsters into the arena. They don't really have gladiators.
Interesting.
There may be some fights where somebody accompanies the beast. Like, there may be, but there's always
He's probably calling in a mercenary or something.
A mercenary, or maybe a druid, or like they may have some gladiators that way, but yeah, it's always beast fights.
Awesome.
We'll say that you hear that Chebagast currently is training some sort of exotic beast called a megaphant.
It's probably the dinosaur thingy from the place where everybody thinks it's called Mega something or other.
Phant, Phant.
Giant woolly mammoth motherfucker with a dire elephant. Mark, do you want to fight a dire elephant?
Me? No. Do I want to take pictures at one from way far away? With a solid concrete wall? Yes. In between us? Yes.
Who's that big mega fan?
All right, so this is you guys gaining the lay of the land and kind of doing things. And so, to make this sort of like not so you get to know everything before you start,
Yep.
We'll say that that has taken up you coordinating on information. Are Phineas and Ashoka sharing information, or are they sitting on this information separately?
No, Phineas. Well, if Phineas is not one of those people. He's book smart, not street smart. Would not share this information unless he knew Ashoka was looking for the information. And he'd be like, oh, well, that...
So Ashoka shares information, but he doesn't harp on details that might be useful, that he does, like...
Okay.
Like the priest of the sea god might be an interesting potential ally, he's not going to bring that up.
There is a meeting where Qued acts like the glue in this case, where he asks you explicitly. So, what do the three of you know about the other Ludi and people in this town? And then Phineas starts barking out his information that he learns that he's keeping track of in a book, like the personas of Vaddapol. And he's Nick-a-pope. Qued hides a little bit from the bird. Crouches down away from the bird. It doesn't matter. We'll kill anyone in the arena.
The knights are but a front for a mob-like mentality.
We'll take on the knights. We'll take on the beasts. We'll take on the sea god's fury.
Sabros worships an evil deity of the sea and is much despised. And Chebagast is likely an important person for us to make friends with, as he has the most experience in raising beasts.
A name like Chebagast. Who's going to fear him?
He's a trainer.
He doesn't fight, Magnus.
Well, and what does he know?
How to raise beasts.
Train animals. Like it's at this point Phineas is looking at Ashoka like, am I missing something?
Magnus is dismissive of anyone who's not a gladiator. He is convinced that you have to do it in order to know it. Weakling! I'll show you, weakling! Magnus goes and is like throwing like boiled potatoes at the bird. He leaves the room, chasing the bird out of the room. I'm glad that the two of you are here to temper Magnus's enthusiasm, says Qued.
Yes, well, he's got his useless, I suppose.
You simply need to point things in the right direction.
Indeed. We only have, less than a 10-day before the initial games open. Usually there are great events on the first 5 days of the games.
We shared what we knew. What do you know?
I know that you are to operate independently, that eventually the umbilical cord must be cut. I have other duties in other places for my master. I will stay on for a time, but I could fill volumes with what I know. You should decide who your enemies are and who your friends are in the city. You do not want to be a ludus all on an island by yourself, assaulted from all sides. That will make your life very miserable here. Very miserable. Of course, my master is a great follower of the idea of that which does not kill makes you stronger.
How old are you?
Does that matter?
He just stares.
He shirks a little bit further behind the table. Old enough. You two are young. I have seen quite a bit in my days. Quite a bit, yes. To know it is good to rule from the shadows. It is even better to just simply hide in the shadows.
Well, all right. If that's your opinion, I suppose you're entitled to it.
All right. Phineas, we are going to need your voice, your presence with some of the conversations relating to our position within the town?
Yes, it is curious that my masters decided to have all three of you represent the Ludus instead of one. Perhaps he sees a complete person in the three of you combined.
You can ensure, Master Krakenstein, that we are each complete persons all on our own.
Yes, I will tell him that.
The Imperial Magister of Vaddapol will require your presence. You should practice making friends.
I'm quite good at making friends. Why do you say things like that?
Yes, you do need to make sure that you talk to the Magister as well as the Commissar. The Commissar first. Otherwise, you are not official. The documents I have prepared over there that you have already signed just simply need to be submitted. It should be a formality, as the previous documents have already been signed and sent over. He is expecting you. As for the Magister, he is a good person to talk to if you're looking to have particular types of deals. Getting him on your wrong side will mean that the most dangerous and vicious criminals will become your problem, heaped upon other problems.
I will deal with the Magister. He will hate you based simply on your skin. And he will hate Magnus simply by his Magnus sight. Isms.
As for the others, I care not whether or not the other Ludi like you. But know this, there is one simple rule when inside the sands. When upon the sands and inside the arena with the roaring crowd, while there are certain decorum, there are technically no rules. You break the rules agreed upon beforehand, or break the decorum, you will have to suffer the consequences. But accidents do happen in the arena.
That is Magnus's problem. I just make things.
Unfortunately not, Phineas. And perhaps we go back to the original statement. With the three of you, you are a complete person. None of you have proven yourself worthy enough to rule alone.
I think it's worth reminding you, this is not my goal in life. This is temporary, though admittedly the opportunity to raise a dragon is an extraordinary one I would never turn down, but this I will not be doing my entire life.
No, you'll be doing it for the next 10 years with an opportunity to resign. I suggest you put your priorities in order, at least your near-term priorities.
They are in order, I assure you, Qued.
His eyes narrow, suggesting that he does not believe you completely.
Ashoka's just watching the
it's-
personalities rub against each other.
Yep. Magnus comes
He
wandering back in.
legitimately sees this. He legitimately sees this position is a stepping stone to something greater away from this.
Magnus comes
is the
in,
only one who-
chicken grease all over his, or like ostrich grease all over his. Oh, they got ostrich here too. Ah,
Lovely.
you want something? He offers you like this, like ostrich are huge, this massive like chicken
No.
drumstick.
No, I do not.
Feed the dragon. Could you come here for a moment?
What is his name? We gave him a name. I know you're just gonna call
His name is Feed the Dragon. I don't know.
NPCs Vaddapol. Is it under your house? Where did I stick these guys? Characters. His slave is Derm. Term feed the dragon. Okay, so feed the dragon. You summon him. He's in the end of the room. He comes over. You notice that he's got blisters still, like all along his legs. When he didn't learn to hop up, like they're still healing wounds. He's dressed in a simple loincloth. He's got a shaven head. He looks down. He's now got like fresh scars along his arms, like he's been attacked by the dragon already, but healed. Yes, master.
The bits of potato that Primus Magnus has deposited across the villa, could you make certain that's cleaned up?
Okay. He with his head already starting in a bowed position, he kind of bows even further down and goes scuttling off to clean.
Damn it, Magnus!
Magnus's mess.
Damn
Wow.
it, Magnus!
What?
That's how we get ants.
I don't know. City cockroach.
Yeah, no, that is how we get ants. Food stays on your plate, goes in your belly. That's it.
I got the bird. He almost fell in a stew pot. You actually felt like a little bit of panic and then nothing from your familiar?
You got son?
Do you go and check on your familiar?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you find him just sort of unceremoniously dumped on the floor with a bunch of like broken potatoes around him, and he's knocked out. He's still breathing, but he's knocked out. The servant's like cleaning up potatoes. He looks up at you for a moment, like quizzically, like he wants to know what to do with the bird.
Give me the bird.
He carefully picks up the bird. He knows the bird is special. It's a talking bird. He picks up the bird and he just sort of holds it out in front of him up towards you.
He gives it an extract of cure light wounds.
Nyx wakes up and then goes hopping onto your shoulder and Batman.
Yes, so why do you keep antagonizing him?
Nincompoop.
Yes, he is. And that is actually not even kind to nincompoops. He is the dumbest creature probably in this entire building.
Dummy.
Yes, well, I've seen you try to play checkers. Don't get too uppity.
Checkers. And now Nyx wants to play checkers with you.
No, we're not playing checkers.
He nibbles at some of the potatoes and then stops. He doesn't bother Magnus for the rest of that day.
I suggest that you go about your errands. I will be here around, I suppose, if you need me.
Of course.
Should you wish me to accompany you, I can, although I do not like being in the spotlight.
If
I
we
will
run
be-
into anything untoward, we'll keep you in mind.
If you do not need me, I will be in the guest chambers.
You have like guest chambers here. Basically, there's one set of chambers that have been set aside for Krakenstein and Qued, and you were told that you're not allowed to go into them. It's really the only place that is off limits in the entire Ludus.
Okay.
Does detect magic go through the wall into the room?
You haven't investigated too closely yet. Like, you've kind of let it slide.
All
But
right.
you can go and investigate it if you want.
Well, not this second, but I'll keep it on the list of things to do.
Derm's cleaning up potatoes. The Nyx has been rescued from the wrath of the tuber-throwing barbarian, and Qued has gone off to the. It's too creepy for you.
It will break your mind.
It's just a bunch of furry costumes and a sex swing. That's all that's in there.
Nope.
All right.
I don't know what sort of D&D you play with your wife, but that is not the D&D we're playing now. Sorry.
I'll be back in a second. I'm just gonna check on.
All right, I was going to let Mark pick first, but as it
You
goes,
go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I will grab Aka to accompany me to see Sabros.
Okay, so you're taking Aka, and you're gonna go